Now we need to learn a concept known as structures in C language. It also has a support in C++ languages. So basically it is an important and a very convenient use of variables or the functionalities of C programming language that would make the work for the user very easy. So what this basically is, uh, so whenever we are going to group some variables, or we can say whenever we are going to group some related variables into one place and use the functionalities that are provided in the C programming languages for the benefits, then that structure, that particular relation of that particular organization is known as structures in C programming languages. So this is basically also a somewhat like functions. It basically not is a function, but uh, it is somewhere declared as a function, it is called as a function, and it would be easy for us to learn if we have learned functions previously. So in C programming languages, a structure is a user defined data type that allows you to group together variables of different data types under a single name. Like what we have seen till now is कि we are declaring integer that has a separate access, we are declaring a different variable that will be accessed separately. But what if we need all them to be grouped together and known as one variable only, or one uh, should be known of having one parent only? So here the concept of structure comes. So a structure basically can contain any combination of data types, including other structures, arrays, and pointers. Right. So this is about these structures, and basically structures in C programming languages can be very useful when you need to group together related data into a single entity. Just like I said, we are declaring integer here, we are declaring, let us suppose, char here, and we all need this for a particular attribute only. We need to group this thing and want them to be accessed as one variable. Then we can group it in a single entity known as structures. They are often used to represent real world objects and concepts such as employees, customers, and products. Like if I'm declaring a variable known as car, let us suppose, so what do I need? I need the price, I need the color. Okay, but that is certainly for a single thing only, that is car. So I need to group these attributes of uh, color and price under one roof, and this can be achieved using structures. So moving on further, we will see how to create a structure, how we can basically create it, and just like the functions, it has a certain syntax for it. So basically first what we need to do is, uh, we will write a keyword here. Struct is a keyword. This struct has to be written, and this is a mandatory thing. And now this is manipulative. This is basically user defined name. This can be written anything, or we can say this is basically identifier that can be written as per the choice of the user. Here it is written as my structure, and we need to open a curly braces. Just like I said, we have to group certain amount of variables or related data types. So this is how these two things are grouped. So here we are grouping integer data type my num and character data type my letter under my structure, and then we have to close the bracket and put a semicolon. This semicolon is important because otherwise it would throw an error. So you need to focus on this as well. So here what we have seen is the thing which I am marking with green, it's basically a keyword, and we need not change it. This struct, this integer, character, these are keywords only. Okay, so these need not to be changed. Means yeah, you can definitely change it, like in a way ki here we are declaring integer, you might not declare integer, you might declare double, but the spelling or the syntax has to remain the same. And basically this red thing is an identifier, or basically something that is defined by the user only, or the name that is given by the user. So this is how we can declare a structure. Moving on further, how we can access the structure. Like this is the main block, this is the main block, and this is the upper block where the structure has been defined. So this is the same structure that we have seen in the previous slide. Okay, and now we have to make a certain variable or a certain common attribute that will access these two data types or these two variables. So how we can declare it in main function? Now we are giving it a call. We will write struct. This is again a keyword. We will write the name of the structure for which we need to create a variable, and now we are going to create a variable. Like we are writing s1, you may write structure1, structure2, my structure1, my structure2, anything you want. This is a variable name. This is also an identifier. So we are creating. Now this s1 would be used to access the members of this my structure, right? So this is an important concept, and we need to grasp this thing, that this structure has to be used using this s1 only. And how, we are going to see further. So this is basically a program. Here we are going to learn the basic approach of structures. So here again this is the structure block where the structure has been created and the main functions has been declared here, and the execution will start from this point only. This block, this line having the declaration of the variable that is used to access the variables that are defined under my structure. So we'll be using s1. And how we can access it? If we are writing s1 dot mynum, so this dot is basically a part of the syntax only, where the dot can be used to access these variables. So s1 dot mynum is equal to 13. Now we are giving a value of 13 to this mynum, and this is not basically a constant value because we are declaring this variable as s1. Okay, so whenever we are going to call s1 dot mynum, it is going to return 13, because in mynum of s1 we have stored 13. We can learn it in a way that this is basically s1, the circle is s1, and inside it we have two small blocks. Now this block is mynum, and this block is my letter, and this whole circle is s1. So inside it only, it is basically a subset. mynum and my letter is a subset of s1. So we may create many structure variables, like we may create s2 also, s3 also, and for every s1, s2, s3 or different structure variables, we are going to have a different values. Okay, whatever the user will give it. So after this the control will come to this. It will store 13 in mynum of s1 and store a character b in my letter of s1. And now the printing thing, if we are going to print s1 dot mynum, it is going to print 13 because we have given the value earlier, and if we are going to print my letter, it is going to print b. So this is how the control flow will work. So one thing that we need to see here is ki here we are making one variable only, s1. You might create certain other variables also using the same syntax, struct my structure s2. And if I write over here, if I write s1 dot mynum is equal to 10, let us suppose, and if I try to print here s2 dot, we have created a different variable s2 with the same syntax, struct my structure s2. Okay, and now if I'm trying to print s2 dot mynum, then what the output is going to be? Although the mynum thing is same, but this mynum is of s2 variable and this is the mynum of s1 variable. So accordingly we need to access it. So we will first go to s2. So s2, here we get this thing, and we have to see mynum variable of s2 variable. Then mynum variable stores 10 for s2. So basically it is going to print 10 in this case. So this is how the flow will work for my structure. And certainly this return 0 is because the main function has been defined as integer return type, so that we need not to worry about. So this is basically how we can declare a structure. We can create a variable for structure. We can change the attributes inside a structure using that s1 variable that we declared earlier, and the way we are going to access the members and the way we are going to print the members, and we may create as many variables or objects as we want in a structure. So this is how the concept would be taken out in C programming language.